Do you pray desperately every day and nothing changes? There's a secret. An alien revealed to me how Jesus performed miracles, and this is not a theory, but an exact method which has been hidden from you and which the church has never taught. Before we dive deeper, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Grab yourself a warm drink, maybe a cup of tea or just some water, and sit back as we begin this journey together. What David discovered isn't empty wishful thinking. It's a formula for conscious manifestation. Jesus perfectly mastered this knowledge and transformed David's life from bankrupt and depressed to a thriving businessman in just 6 months. You're stuck in a cycle of prayer without results because you don't know the key. We'll show you the method. Now, let me tell you how this happened. David Mercer, David to everyone, was 46 years old, and his life was in complete ruins. 2 years ago, I was a thriving businessman, construction company, 10 employees, 3-story house in a nice Detroit suburb, 2 cars, healthy finances, married for 16 years, 2 children, life that was working. Then the 2020 crisis hit. Contracts were canceled, clients didn't pay, bad decisions were made under pressure. The company went under. It took everything with it. House foreclosed, cars sold, savings evaporated. The marriage lasted another year. Then his wife couldn't take it anymore. She took the children. She left 7 months ago. Now David lived alone in a tiny rented apartment, 2 bedrooms, second-hand furniture, and he worked as an Uber driver, 46 years old, MBA in business administration, driving passengers for $40, $50 a day, if he was lucky. Tuesday, March 11th, 10:47 p.m. David was parked near the airport, good area for rides, waiting for the next call. The app beeped. New route, Terminal 2, Oak Park residential neighborhood, 23 minutes, 1,850. He accepted. He drove to the collection point. Passenger waiting. Man, tall, very tall, about 2 meters, thin, well-tailored, gray suit, small briefcase, professional appearance. He got into the back seat. Good evening. Good evening. Oak Park, correct? Yes, thank you. David drove, leaving the airport, taking the expressway. Silence for a few minutes. David glanced occasionally in the rearview mirror, passenger looking out the window. Face difficult to describe, soft features, almost ethereal. Passing lights created strange shadows. Business trip? David asked. Driver habit, casual conversation. Yes. Note. What kind of work? Research, human behavior, patterns, trends, anthropology, something like that. More silence. But the passenger was now staring at David through the rear-view mirror. Intensely. You are suffering. It wasn't a question. It was a statement. David frowned. Excuse me. I feel your energy. Deep pain, recent loss, multiple losses, and growing despair. Okay. This is strange. Very strange. Sorry. I shouldn't have been so direct, but your vibe is high. Hard to ignore. David didn't know whether to be offended or worried. Vibration, emotional frequency. Everyone transmits it, some higher than others. You are transmitting very intense pain and something else. Thoughts about giving up. David almost slammed on the brakes. How do you know that? I understand. It's a gift or a curse depending on the day. The passenger tilted his head. He lost his business, his family, his identity, and now he works driving strangers while wondering if it's worth continuing. David's heart raced. Who are you? A private detective? Someone investigating me? No, just an observer with perception beyond the normal. Beyond normal? How? The passenger remained silent. Then can I trust you with strange truth? Strange truth? Like what? Like I'm not exactly human. David laughed humorlessly. Great. I got the crazy one. Perfect. Exactly what the night needed. I'm not crazy. I'm an alien. Literally. Silence. David looked in the rearview mirror. The passenger was serious. Completely serious. Okay, sure. And I'm Batman. I understand skepticism. But it's true. Look at me closely. Really look. David looked. A streetlight passed by the car. For a second, The passenger's face changed. Did his skin seem translucent? Did his eyes become too big? He blinked. It went back to normal. Or has it always been like this? What was that holographic project? I maintain a human appearance so as not to cause panic, but sometimes it fails, especially when I'm tired. Are you serious? Completely. David considered stopping the car, getting the passenger out, but curiosity overcame fear. Okay, let's pretend I believe you. Why are aliens taking Ubers in Detroit? Because I need discreet transportation. And because I saw you, your energy, your state, and I recognized. Perfect. Ready for what? To learn truth that can change everything. About how reality works. About power you've always had but never knew how to use. And why on earth would an alien care about a broke Uber driver? Because my species has been observing Earth for a long time. And part of the mission is to sow knowledge in people who are ready. You are more ready than you imagine. Desperation created openness. David shook his head. That's crazy. Yes, but truth often is. And what exactly do you want to teach me? The method Jesus used to perform miracles. Real, scientific, functional. David almost laughed. Jesus? Are you talking about Jesus Christ? Yes. He understood conscious manifestation, creation, through frequency. But the church distorted it. It turned it into a religion of supplication when it was a science of creation. And how do you know that? Because we documented Jesus was a high consciousness. He understood universal laws. He taught method. But after his death, the message was buried. The church needed dependent masses, not empowered individuals. David drove in silence, processing the utter insanity of the conversation. So, let me understand. You're an alien. You observe Earth. You know about Jesus, and you want to teach me what exactly the 4 steps that Jesus used: clear intention, present feeling, anticipated gratitude, inspired action, the exact method that turned water into wine, multiplied loaves of bread, healed the sick. And does it work? Like really, it works universally. Jesus wasn't unique. He was just aware. You can do the same. Anyone can. You just need to learn how. And why would the church hide this? Because method teaches autonomy. The kingdom of God is within you, Jesus said, not in a temple, not in ritual, within each person with direct power. The church cannot control those who know this, so it buried method. It kept only a version of desperate pleading that keeps people powerless. David arrived at his destination, house in Oak Park. He stopped. We've arrived. The passenger didn't move. David, I can show you. Not just explain. Show you. Do you have 30 minutes to spare? Show how. There's a 24-hour coffee shop 2 blocks from here. I'll sit with you. I'll explain step by step. I'll demonstrate with a small example. You can test it today and see if it works. What if I say no? Then I accept. I'll pay for the ride. I'll leave and you can continue with your life as it is. It's always your choice. David glanced in the rearview mirror. Passenger alien waiting. Life was misery. $127 in the account. Rent due. Ex-wife not answering. Children forgetting. Depressive thoughts every night. What do I have to lose? 30 minutes. Okay. Coffee. 30 minutes. Will you pay? Paid and a generous tip for opening. What's your name? What name can you pronounce? Xylan. Xylan. Right. I'm David. But you already know, right? With your gift of perception. Yes, but thank you for formally confirming something in the tone almost humorous. David parked near the cafe. They both got out. They went inside. Empty cafe. Just a sleepy waiter behind the counter. They sat down. Isolated corner, and Xylan, an alien disguised as a human or a very strange human David hasn't decided yet, began to explain. First, you need to understand, you have always manifested your reality. Only unconsciously your current life is not bad luck. It's a direct reflection of your internal vibration. Fear, despair, lack. You transmitted that. The universe responded with more of the same. So it's my fault that I lost everything. Not blame, cause, big difference. Not punishment, natural law. Frequency attracts corresponding frequency. You were in a collapse vibration, then you collapsed. And Jesus was vibrating with certainty, abundance, love. That's why he manifested miracles. Not because he was the Son of God different from you, because he was aware of an inner power that you ignore. David took the coffee the waiter brought. He drank it, processing. Okay. So, how do I change? How do I go from a negative vibration to a miracle vibration? Xylan smiled. He definitely smiled, but his teeth were different, too small, all the same. Now, that's more like it. That's the right question. I'll teach you step by step starting today, right now, and you'll test it small, simple, and you'll see it work. Ready? David looked at the coffee cup at the alien in front of him at Life in Ruins. Okay, teach me what Jesus did. First step. And Xylan began to reveal a method that the church had hidden for 2,000 years. The method that David, desperate, open, ready, was about to test. And what if it worked? Everything would change. Absolutely everything. Xylan picked up a napkin, a pen. He began to draw while he spoke. You used to pray when you had the company, right? David nodded. Every day morning, giving thanks, asking for guidance. And then, what happened after he lost everything? I stopped. Why pray to a God who abandons you? It didn't abandon you. You changed your frequency, and the universe responded to the new frequency. But let me show you the fundamental difference. He drew 2 columns on the napkin. Traditional prayer versus Jesus' method. How did the church teach you to pray? Xylan asked. God, please help me. Please give me this. Please change that. Exactly, Tom. A plea. A need. And what about your inner feelings when you pray like that? David thought. Desperation, lack, need, like a beggar asking. Precisely. Xylan pointed to the left column. Traditional prayer affirms that you don't have it. It transmits a vibration of lack. And the universe, which responds to frequency, gives you more of the same, more lack. So prayer doesn't work. Praying that way doesn't work. But Jesus' method completely different. He pointed to the right column. Jesus gave thanks before seeing results. Father, thank you for already listening to me. You will listen to me. Future, but you already heard. Present or past. What's the difference? Tone, frequency. Jesus didn't plead. He affirmed. Absolute certainty, gratitude as if already received. Vibration of abundance. Nothing lacking. David frowned. But he didn't have it yet. How can you be grateful for something that doesn't exist? That's the secret. Xylan leaned forward. Physical reality is the last place where manifestation appears. First, it exists in consciousness, then in the quantum field, finally, in physical matter. Jesus gave thanks at the level of consciousness where he was already real. Matter only reached him later. Does this look like quantum physics? Exactly. The observer collapses possibility into reality. Jesus was a conscious observer. He chose the desired reality. He felt it as present and physics responded. David shook his head. Okay. Too abstract. How do I do this concretely? 4 steps. Simple. Precise. Xylan turned over a napkin. He began to write. Step 1. Clear intention. Jesus was specific. 5 loaves of bread feed 5,000 people. Not vague. Help with food. Specific, clear, precise. So, I need to know exactly what I want. Yes, the universe doesn't respond to vague requests like, improve my life. It responds to clear intention, numbers, details, specificity. An example for me? What do you want financially? David thought. I don't know. Enough money to live without despair. Vague numbers. How much per month would make you comfortable? $8,000. With that, I'll pay off debts, rent, see my children, rebuild. Perfect. Clear intention. $8,000 per month through a business you love. Specific, measurable, realistic. Xylan wrote on the napkin. 1. Clear intention. $8K month. Step 2. Present feeling. Second step, most important. Jesus felt the desired reality before physically manifesting it like this. I couldn't vaguely imagine it, but I was mentally living in reality, as if it were the present. What would it be like to wake up already having $8,000 a month? What emotions would I feel? How would I walk, talk? How would I behave? Type visualization deeper. Not just seeing, but embodying, complete embodiment. Jesus did this before every miracle. He entered a state of total certainty. He felt abundance, peace, gratitude before seeing the result. And how long? 10 minutes a day is enough, but with intensity, not half distracted, totally present, feeling every detail. David absorbed it. What if I can't feel it? What if it seems fake? Fake it till you feel it. The brain doesn't differentiate between vivid imagination and reality. Neurons fire equally. Hormones are released. Frequency changes, and frequency is what attracts. Xylan wrote, "Too present feeling to live mentally as if you already had." Step 3. Advance gratitude. Step 3. Jesus always gave thanks beforehand. Lazarus in the tomb before resurrecting Jesus said, "Father, thank you for already hearing me." Already? Lazarus was still dead. Physically, yes, but in Jesus' consciousness, he was already alive. Jesus gave thanks on a causal level, not an effect level, and the effect followed. So I should say thank you before I even see a single dollar. Yes, every day. Thank you for the 8K month I have, not that I will have. The future keeps it in the future. That I have. The present brings it to the present. Even without having it, you have it in the quantum field. In potential, anticipatory gratitude collapses potential into reality. It is a bridge between consciousness and matter. David rubbed his face. This is crazy. It's science. Just science that the church buried because it empowers too much. Xylan wrote 3. Anticipatory gratitude, giving thanks as if you have already received. Step 4. Inspired action. Final step. Jesus didn't stand still waiting for a miracle to fall from the sky. He acted. He commanded Lazarus to come out of the tomb. He distributed the bread. He ordered the paralytic to walk. So, do I need to take action? Yes, but not desperate action. Inspired action. The crucial difference. Desperation makes you run aimlessly. Inspiration makes you move with precision. How do I know the difference? Despair comes from fear. It feels urgent, heavy, forced. Inspiration comes from peace. It feels right, light, natural, like a gentle but clear inner impulse. What if I don't feel the urge? Then wait. Continue. Steps 1 to 3. Momentum will come. It could be calling someone, posting something online, going to a specific place. Don't force it. Let it flow. And when is it coming? Act immediately, without hesitation, without questioning. Inspired impulse has a window of opportunity. Act fast or the opportunity will pass. Xylan wrote 4. Inspired action. Moving when guided, internally, not by despair. Xylan pushed a napkin toward David. 4 steps. Jesus method complete. The church taught you step 3 distortedly, thanking God for blessings received, but it never taught you to thank before. It never taught you present feeling. It never taught you clear intention. And it definitely never taught you that you manifest through consciousness. Why? Why hide it? Because the method teaches that you are a co-creator, not a victim waiting for salvation. You have inner divine power. The kingdom of God is within. Jesus constantly repeated. The church cannot control those who know this. David looked at the napkin. 4 steps. Simple but radical. And does it work? Really? It works. Tested for millennia. Jesus, Buddha, masters across cultures, they all used variations of it. Not magic, science of consciousness. And you want me to test it now? Yes, small, something for today. Not 8K month. Too much for a first time. Something smaller, measurable, quick. David thought, like what? How much do you need to earn today to feel immediate relief? $200. With that, I'll pay my overdue bill and eat well this week. Perfect, clear intention, $200 today. Now, close your eyes. Here at the cafe? Yes. Nobody cares. Close it. Take 3 deep breaths. David looked around. The cafe was still empty. The server was on his cell phone. She closed her eyes. She breathed. Now, Xylan instructed, his voice soft. See the $200 in the pocket? Don't just vaguely imagine it. See it. Feel the notes, the texture, even the smell. Mentally touch it. Feel it. David tried. He saw $100 bills. 2. Green. Clear. Feel safe. Relieved. Grateful for having. I'm not going to have. I have now. Present. Something changed. David felt warmth in his chest. Momentary peace. Good. Now give thanks. Out loud or in your mind. It doesn't matter. David whispered. Thank you for the $200 today. It sounded strange. False. But I said it again with more certainty. Thank you for the $200 today. Better. Less forced. Last time. As if I really believed it. Thank you for the $200 today. Something clicked. For a second, it felt like it was true. Perfect. Opens eyes. David opened the door. Xylan smiled strangely, but smiling. Done. First test. Now drive normally. No desperation, no forcing, but be attentive. Does impulse come? Act on it. Does an opportunity appear? Seize it. Go with the flow. What if it doesn't work? It will work. It might not be exactly $200. It could be $180 or $250, but it will come today. Watch. David looked at the napkin, at Xylan, at the empty coffee. Why are you doing this helping me? Because desperation opened you up, and because your story, a man at the bottom rising through Jesus's method, will help millions. You are a seed plant. Harvest comes later. I'm not special. That's exactly why. If I were a spiritual billionaire, people would say it works for him, not for me. But you broke, desperate, ordinary, perfect. When it works for you, others will see it works for anyone. Xylan stood up. He put $50 on the table. Coffee and tip. Now go drive, observe, test. Tomorrow, same time, same place. You tell us the results and we'll teach you the next level. What if? What if I want to give up sooner? What if I get scared? Free will, always, but David. Xylan held his shoulder. A cold but gentle touch. You've already lost everything. Literally everything. There's nothing left to lose, only to gain you. You're really an alien. Try. From where? Far away. Very far away. But the universe is smaller than you think, and consciousness that transcends distance. Jesus knew. Now you will learn. Xylan walked towards the exit. He stopped. He turned. David. Jesus wasn't God. Different from you. He was a human being aware of an inner divinity. The same one you have. The same one everyone has. The church buried that. I'm digging it up. Use it wisely. And he left. David was left alone. Napkin, in front of him. 4 steps written on it. She looked at her cell phone. 12:23 a.m. A new day is beginning. $200 today. Let's see if the crazy alien is right or if I've finally gone completely insane. He left the cafe. He got into his car. He opened the Uber app, ready to test the method that Jesus used. And unbeknownst to him, his life was about to change in ways that not even an alien could fully predict. Because when you finally understand how to manifest, the universe has no choice but to respond. David drove for 2 hours after leaving the cafe, a mind alternating between skepticism and curiosity. $200 today through a method an alien taught me based on Jesus. Yes, completely normal, but something had changed. Subtle, a different energy, less heavy. He would usually drive in despair, clutching his chest. He needs money. He needs a race. He needs to survive. Now, calm down. Not because the situation has improved. The situation was still a mess. But internally, it's different. Thank you for the $200 today. He repeated it mentally, trying to feel it as truth. 3:15 a.m. He was about to give up and go home when the race appeared. Pick up Renaissance Hotel. Destination, airport. $34. He accepted. He drove. A man entered. In his 50 seconds, expensive suit, tired. Airport, please. North Terminal. Of course. Silence for the first few minutes. David driving. Passenger on the phone. Then the passenger looked up. Long night. You can say it. You, too. Apparently. Meeting that lasted until midnight. Flight at 6 a.m. Consultant life. What type of consulting? Business strategy. Restructuring of companies in crisis. Something clicked in David. An impulse, gentle but clear. Speak now. Restructuring. I had a construction company. It went bankrupt 2 years ago. 2020 crisis. Bad decisions. I lost everything. Why did I say that? I never talked about failure with passengers, but the words just came out naturally. The passenger looked at him with renewed interest. Construction, tough sector. Many have sunk. Have you tried to go back? No, I don't have the capital. The network dissolved. My reputation was tarnished by bankruptcy. The market is heating up again. Good time to return. Do you have solid experience? 10 years. I built the company from scratch. Residential and commercial projects, good team, satisfied clients until they weren't anymore. The passenger remained quiet. Then I have a client developer in Bloomfield Hills looking for a reliable contractor for a residential project. Not huge, $80K total, but a solid start. Want his number? David almost crashed his car. Seriously? Yes. You seem honest, direct. And anyone starting over after bankruptcy has a humility that success kills. Give me your number. David passed by. Passenger typed in number. Returned. His number. Call tomorrow. Technically today. Mention my name. Robert Vance. Say, I recommended you. No guarantees, but it's worth a try. I thank you. Seriously. Thank you. You're welcome. Everyone deserves a second chance. They arrived at the airport. David stopped. The passenger got out. Then he came back. He stuck something out the window. $100 tip. Good luck with the project, and he left. David looked at the bill. $100. The ride had been $34 with tip. $134. $134. $66 remaining. Heart racing. It can't be a coincidence, can it? He decided to do one more race, the last one of the night. Pickup bar downtown. Destination, Royal Oak suburb, $22. A woman entered in her early 30 seconds, slightly drunk, but in control. Hi, thanks for taking it. The last drink was amazing. No problem, Royal Oak, that's it. Cedar Street. They talked. She works in marketing, freelancer, various projects. David mentioned again impulsively that he had a company and was starting over construction. I have a friend who's an interior designer. She always looks for reliable contractors. Want their contact information? Yes, please. She texted it. Okay, call her. Mention Jessica. No guarantees, but she's nice. They arrived. Ride $22. She paid $50. Keep the change. Thanks for chatting. David looked out at the totality of the night. Regular rides. $63 tip for Robert. $100 tip for Jessica. $28 total. $191, 99 more to go. Almost there. It was already 4:47 a.m. I was about to give up when the app beeped. Short run, 1.2 miles, $7. He accepted more to complete the job than out of necessity. He picked up a passenger, young student, coming back from a party. They didn't talk much. He arrived quickly. Payment, $7. But when David checked, there was an additional tip in the app. $12. Why? The race was 3 minutes. It didn't matter. Total final $210. David parked. He turned off the car. He looked at the app, showing his earnings for the night. $210. Meta was $200. It worked. It really worked. No lotteries, no magic, but opportunities arising, conversations flowing naturally, impulses emerging, connections happening. And he continued on without despair, with fluidity. Jesus method. Alien was right. Meeting at the cafe 24 hours later. Same table. Xylon is already waiting. Tea is in front, untouched. David sat down. It worked. B. How do you know? I feel it. Its frequency has changed, less dense, lighter. Something has opened up. David told everything. Races, conversations, impulses. $210. Xylan nodded. Perfect. First step, a small proof that the method works. Now, ready for something bigger? Bigger? How? Something personal. Not money, relationship, connection, your children. David felt a tightness in his chest. I haven't spoken to them in weeks. Ex-wife blocks me. Kids are busy. I'm forgotten. So, next test. Reconnect. Don't force it. Don't beg. But manifested through frequency. Same steps applied differently. As clear intention. Genuine conversation with your children. Not forced. Natural. Connected. Present feeling. Seeing them laughing with you. Hugs. Restored connection. Anticipatory gratitude. Giving thanks for a healed relationship. Inspired action. When the impulse comes, a call, a message, a visit, act without hesitation. David hesitated. What if it doesn't work? What if his ex-wife keeps blocking him? She responds to your frequency. If you call desperate, needy, guilty, she senses it and repels. If you call centered, loving, at peace, she feels it differently. Frequency changes everything. How long? Days? A week maybe? But it starts today. Now close your eyes. David closed. See children faces, smiles, hear laughter, feel hugs. Live the moment as if it were now, real present. David tried. The face of his eldest son appeared. 14 years old. Smiling just like he smiled before everything fell apart. Daughter 11 years old. Jumping into his arms like she used to when she was little. He felt something. Warmth in his chest. Not pain. Love. Hope. Feel it deeply. Gratitude for the connection even without seeing it yet. Give thanks. Thank you for connecting with my children. David whispered again. Thank you for restoring the connection with my children. Third time. Thank you for restoring the connection with my children. Last time he felt it. Truth. Certainty. Open your eyes. David opened it. Tears. He didn't know where they came from. Good, Xylan said softly. Blocked pain is leaving. Good sign. Now repeat this daily. Morning 10 minutes. And when the urge comes, act. What if the impulse is to call my ex-wife? She hates me. She doesn't hate. She's hurt. And she responds to your frequency. Change your frequency. Her response changes. Trust. 3 days later. David woke up 7:23 a.m. He exercised 10 minutes, visualizing his children, feeling connected, and the impulse came. Clear, gentle, but unmistakable. Call her now. He picked up his cell phone. It was his ex-wife's number. She usually didn't answer. He dialed tap 2, 3. Hello. Her voice surprised but not hostile. Karen. Hi. It's me, David. How are you? A different tone. Not cold, not defensive, just neutral, open. Yes, I just wanted to know about the children. How are they? Pause then. They're fine. Leo asked about you yesterday. He said he misses you. David's heart tightened. Seriously? Yes. And Sophie too. She said she'd forgotten how you tell stories. Can I see them this weekend? Another pause. A longer one. Okay. Saturday afternoon. 2. Riverside Park. No pressure, just time together. Yes, yes. Thank you, Karen. Okay, see you Saturday. The call ended. David stood still, cell phone in hand. She answered. They talked. She allowed a visit. First time in months. The method worked again. Saturday, 2 p.m., Riverside Park. David arrived early, nervous, but different from before, not desperate. Expectation. He saw Karen arriving. Leo, Sophie. The children saw him. They hesitated. Then Leo ran. Sophie followed. Good hugs. Laughter. Sophie talking about school. Leo talking about his football team. Karen is watching from a distance, but not with hostility. 2 hours passed quickly. Best connection in months, years maybe. When they left, Leo turned to him and said, Dad, you seem different, happier. David smiled. I am. I've learned things about how to live better. Great. Can I see you again next weekend? David looked at Karen. She nodded slightly. Yes, definitely. Meeting with Xylan. A week later, David told everything. Money, children, changes. Ready for big? Xylan asked. How big? $8,000 per month. Real goal. No testing. Full manifestation. Rebuilding life. David took a deep breath. $8K. Seems impossible. I'm making $2,500,000 with Uber. It seemed impossible to earn $200 in one night, but he earned $210. It seemed impossible to reconnect with his children, but he did. Impossible is frequency. Change the frequency, and impossible becomes inevitable. How long? It depends. Consistency, faith without a doubt, action on impulse. Months, perhaps, but it will happen. How do I start? Same steps, but daily without fail. Morning 10 minutes. Intention. $8K month, through my own business. Feeling already having it. Gratitude. Giving thanks beforehand. Action. Following impulses without hesitation, David looked at the original napkin. 4 steps now crumpled, but kept in his wallet. Okay, I'll do it daily for as long as necessary. Good. And David, try. Jesus said, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have already received it and it will be yours. The church reads but doesn't understand. Have already received, present will not receive, future it lives in the present of having physical things are achieved later. David nodded, finally understanding. Thank you for everything, for teaching, for saving my life. I didn't save you. You saved me. I just showed you the door. You chose to go through it. And David went through completely. In the coming months, 8K would become a reality, but not in the way I expected, the way he manifested it. David began the ritual the following day. Every day, without exception, 6:30 a.m. 10 minutes. Even if tired, even if tempted to jump, she closed her eyes. She took a deep breath. She entered a state. Goal. Earn $8,000 per month through a business I love. I could see my bank account. $8,000 deposited. I saw the numbers. I felt safe. He saw himself working on construction projects, talking to clients, creating, building. I felt a profound peace, purpose, fulfillment. Afterwards, thank you for the $8,000 a month I have. Thank you for the thriving business. Thank you for the transformation. I repeated it until I felt it, not just said it, but embodied the frequency. And the day went on as normal. Uber when necessary, but alert, impulses, opportunities. Month 1, March. Week 2. David was driving when momentum hit. Call Stephen now. Stephen, former client. They hadn't spoken in almost 2 years since before the bankruptcy. David hesitated. Why? He probably hates me. The project was left unfinished when the company went bankrupt, but the impulse persisted. Of course, persistent. He picked up his cell phone. He dialed. Hello, Stephen. David Mercer. I know it's been a while and I understand if you don't want to talk, but David, man, I was literally thinking about you yesterday. Serious? Yes. I have a new project, a summer house on the lake. I need a contractor. Everyone I've interviewed is too expensive or doesn't inspire confidence. Are you working? David's heart was racing. I'm gradually returning. Small projects. This isn't small, but it's not huge either. $65,000. 6 weeks of work. Interested? $65,000. 6 weeks. Yes. Very interested. Great. Can we meet tomorrow? Discuss the details for sure. Meeting took place. Contract signed. Payment 30% upfront, 40% midway through, 30% upon completion. David received $19,500 in the first week. But more important than money, he was rebuilding, doing what he loved. Week 3, another boost. Posted on LinkedIn about starting over. Lessons learned. David hadn't posted in 2 years. His profile was abandoned, but the impulse persisted. Wrote a post, honest, vulnerable. 2 years ago, I lost the company I had built over decades. Complete bankruptcy. I lost my house, cars, almost my marriage. I thought it was the end, but I learned failure is not the end. It's recalibration. Today, I'm rebuilding one project at a time, humble but determined. To everyone starting over, you are not alone, and it's not over. He posted it. He wasn't expecting anything. 48 hours later, 50,000 views, 200 reactions, 340 comments, and 3 direct messages from potential clients. One of them, small developer, needed a contractor for business renewal. $45,000. 4 weeks. David agreed. Total month 1, $64,500 in contracts, $19 to $500 already received, more than the $8,000 target. Month 2, April. Projects are underway. David is working, but not alone. He needed to hire help. 2 part-time workers, former members of the original team. They were surprised by the invitation, but they happily accepted. David, man, you're different. One of them commented, later, less stressed. David smiled. I learned a few things. More clients arriving. Referrals, LinkedIn generating leads. A client mentioned it to a friend. The friend called. Another project, $28,000. David hardly needed to look for work. Work came to him. How? Frequency, changed vibration, confidence instead of despair. People felt it, and they responded. Total month 2, $12,400 received from ongoing projects. Month 3. May. David decided to formalize his business, not just freelancing, a real company. Registry LLC, Mercer Construction and Renovation LLC. Simple name, but solid. He hired 2 more employees, now a team of 4. Larger projects are starting to appear. The developer saw David's work. Impressed with the quality and deadline, he offered a contract. 3 houses, complete construction, $180,000 total, 5 months. David negotiated. Favorable terms, staggered payments. He signed it. Total month 3, $18,700 received. Month 4, June, company growing, team of 5 now. Simultaneous projects. David wasn't driving Uber anymore. He didn't need to. Total focus on building, on what I loved, on what I was good at. And money, it's flowing, not fighting for every dollar, but attracting it naturally. A satisfied customer would recommend another. A completed project would lead to a new one. LinkedIn is growing. 3,000 followers now. Posts about rebuilding are resonating. People were sending messages saying, "Your story inspired me. I'm starting over, too." David responding, encouraging, unknowingly setting an example. Total month 4, $24,300 received. Month 5, July. Debt. A monster that haunted David for 2 years. $380,000 total. Bankruptcy had left its mark. But now what? Starting to pay systematically. Not all at once, but real progress. Monthly, steady, creditors taking note, willing to negotiate, seeing genuine effort, and the apartment small. But David found a better place. 2 real bedrooms, decent neighborhood, small backyard. He signed the contract. He changed. First time in 2 years, feeling stability. Karen noticed. She commented while dropping the children off. "You look good. Really good. I am finally. What has changed?" "Me. I changed on the inside. The rest followed." Total. Month 5, $29,100 received. Month 6, August. David met Zylan. Coffee shop. Same table. 6 months after their first meeting. Zylan smiled when he saw him. Complete transformation. "How do you know?" "I haven't seen you in months. I feel it." Frequency. "You are no longer the man I knew. That one was destroyed. This one is reborn." David counted the numbers. Company, team, projects, income. Month 6, $31,000 received. The goal was $8,000. It's at $31,000. Almost 4 times that because the frequency has changed. Not just mindset, essence. You are not trying to manifest. You are conscious manifestation now. David took a deep breath. "And children, how are you? They spend weekends with me every other week. Leo wants to spend more time. Sophie, too. Karen, we talk civilly, sometimes even amicably. Reconciliation. I don't know. Maybe. But I don't force it. I let it flow. If it's meant to be, it will be perfect detachment from the outcome, but certainty about the process. Jesus taught this too. Silence. David looking at his coffee. Then why me? Really? Why would an alien cross a galaxy to teach a broke Uber driver? Because you were ready. Total despair, ego destroyed, complete openness. Comfortable people don't change. Broken people, they can be completely reborn. And when they are reborn, they inspire millions. I don't inspire anyone. He doesn't know yet, but he will. His story, a man losing everything and rebuilding through Jesus' method, will reach many. When he shares it, how to share. When you're ready, you'll feel the impulse like all other impulses, and you'll act. David nodded, looking at his coffee cup. 6 months ago, I was in this cafe. Life in ruins on $127 in the bill. Depressive thoughts. Now business is thriving. 31,000 month. Children reconnected, inner peace. What changed circumstances? No. First came awareness, frequency, internal vibration. Circumstances followed. Xylan try. Are you leaving now that you've taught me something? Yes. Work here is complete. Other places, other people are ready. I'm going to miss it. Connection doesn't depend on physical proximity. You've learned that frequency transcends distance. When you need me, call. I'll listen. I might not answer immediately, but I'll listen. Xylan stood up. David Mercer, you were a broken man transformed into a conscious manifester. Now live, teach when appropriate, and remember, Jesus wasn't special because he was the Son of God. He was special because he knew he was. Like you, like everyone else, only most have forgotten. Thank you for everything, for saving my life. I didn't save you. You saved me. I just showed you the door. You chose to walk through it. You keep choosing to walk through it every day. That's power. Your power. And Xylan left. For the last time, David stayed. Coffee getting cold. Mind processing 6 months from $127 to $31,000 per month. From failure to success. From divorced and out of contact to a present father. From spiritual emptiness to profound peace. Jesus' method. 4 simple steps applied consistently. Everything had changed. Absolutely everything. And now David picked up his cell phone. He opened his notes. He started writing. How I rebuilt my life from $127 to $31,000 a month in 6 months. The method Jesus used. 4 steps. Anyone can do it. Impulse, clear, insistent. Share it. Now it was time to plant seeds, just like Xylan planted them in him. The cycle continues as it always does. Consciousness awakening. Consciousness eternally. 1 year after meeting Xylan, David was in the company office. Not a large one, a modest room in a business complex, but his real solid wall showcasing completed projects, team photos, satisfied clients, desk with contracts for the next 3 months, $127,000 in guaranteed work. A team of 8 people now, all paid well, on time, with respect, and David sitting, looking out the window, processing. 2 years ago, I was driving for Uber. $120 in my account. Miserable apartment, alone, desperate, thinking about giving up permanently. Now business is thriving, debts are being paid off, nice apartment, strong relationship with children. Karen, conversations were increasing, occasional dinners for the children, she would say. But something was changing. Slowly, David didn't force it. He let it flow. Manifestation isn't control, it's alignment. He picked up a crumpled napkin, kept in the drawer. 4 steps, written by Xylan a year ago. 1. Clear intention. 2. Present feeling. 3. Advanced gratitude. 4. Inspired action. Simple, but revolutionary. The method Jesus used, the church hid it. An alien revealed it, and it worked. Proven to measurably. David wasn't special. He didn't have any unique gifts. He was an ordinary man who had lost everything. But he learned. He applied it consistently, and life responded as it always responds when the frequency changes. The phone rang. Karen. Hey, David. Listen, Leo wants to have a birthday party. He's 14 and he asked if you could help organize it with me together. David's heart warmed. Of course, I'd love to. Okay, Saturday. Shall we make plans? Perfect Saturday. Legal. Ah, David, try. I'm proud of what you've built. After all, it's impressive. Tears welling up. Thank you. It means a lot. See you Saturday. The call ended. David stood still, smiling. Frequency, always frequency. I changed inside. The world changed outside. He opened his laptop. A document he had been writing for months. From rock bottom to the top. How Jesus' method changed my life. Full story. Bankruptcy. Despair. Meeting Xylan. Method. Results. It didn't explicitly mention aliens. Who would believe that? But the method that was real, testable, replicable. Finished the last pages, revised them, satisfied. The impulse hit strong, clear, publish now, share freely. Created a PDF, posted it on LinkedIn, personal blog, free for everyone. I lost everything 2 years ago. Today, my company makes over $30K a month. Not by luck, by method. Here it is. Use it. Published. 48 hours later, 300,000 views, 12,000 downloads, 2,000 messages, people expressing gratitude, testing, seeing results. I used a method. I got the job I wanted. I followed the steps. I reconciled with my brother. After 5 years, I did it daily. The business took off. David was reading the messages one by one, replying when he could. The seed has been planted just as Xylan planted it. Now it is multiplying. Night. David at home. Small balcony, beer in hand. Just one, controlled now. Stargazing, clear sky. Rare in Detroit. Thinking about Xylan, the alien that changed everything. Thank you, I said aloud. To no one. To the universe. For showing me the door. For not giving up on me when I had given up on myself. Silence. But he felt something. Presence, recognition, connection, across impossible distance. Perhaps imagination, perhaps reality. It didn't matter. The method was real. The results were real. The transformation was real. David went back inside. He looked around. A modest house, but a home yours earned, made manifest. Photos of the children on the shelf, smiling, recent, happy. Mirror in the hallway. Looked at her reflection. A different man looked back. Not just physically, he had lost weight, improved his posture, and had brighter eyes. But energetically, frequency, completely transformed. From despair to certainty, from lack to abundance, from victim to creator, same person, different consciousness. And that changed everything. David smiled at his reflection. You did it. You really did it. And for the first time in years, maybe decades, he felt genuine pride in himself, not arrogance, healthy pride, recognition of the journey, of choices, of persistence. She lay down. Sleep came easily now. Insomnia had long since disappeared. Last thought before falling asleep. Jesus taught this 2,000 years ago. The church buried it. Aliens unearthed it. I tested it. It worked. And now I've shared it. Thousands are testing it. It will work for some. Those will share it. The cycle continues as it always does. Consciousness, awakening consciousness. You don't need an alien. You don't need a guru. Just method, practice, consistency. Anyone can do it. I was proof. From broke to prosperous. From desperate to at peace. If it worked for me, it will work for anyone. David fell asleep for the first time in years without fear of tomorrow. Why tomorrow? It was just another day to express, to create, to live consciously. And life finally was good, really good. Not by luck, not by magic, by method, frequency, consciousness. The method Jesus used, the church hid it, an alien revealed it, and it was available. It always has been to anyone willing to learn. David learned and life responded. As always, he replies, when you finally awaken to the power you've always had, David went from 127 inches his account and suicidal thoughts to $31,000 a month and inner peace in 6 months, not through an external miracle, through an inner awakening, because he discovered a truth that changes everything. You are not asking God to create your reality. You are co-creating with Him. And what about that difference? It changes absolutely everything. Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness. Genesis 1:26. The church taught you this passage, but it never explained its full implications. If God is the creator and you are made in His image and likeness, so you are a creator too. Not metaphorically, literally. God creates through consciousness, the Word. Let there be light, and there was light. Thought, feeling, word, manifestation. You same essence, same power, you just forgot. And the church ensured that people continued to forget. Why does the church hide this? Because teaching that you are a creator in the image of God means you don't need an intermediary to access divine power. You are not separate from God awaiting external salvation. You are an expression of God creating through you. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are their architect through conscious frequency. Prayer is not desperate pleading. It is creative declaration as God does. The church can't control those who know this. So, it abandoned the method. It only kept the dependency version. Pray and wait for God to act instead of consciously co-create with God. The first keeps you powerless. The second empowers you, and power in the hands of the people. The end of institutional control. But let's go deeper. What does it mean to be a creator? God does not create through effort. He does not sweat. He does not struggle. Create through being. I am that I am pure identity. Frequency vibration that collapses possibility into reality. You, same process. When David was in a state of failure, vibration, thoughts of lack, emotions of despair, an identity of failure, the universe responded with more failure. Not because God punished him, because frequency attracts corresponding frequency. Natural law like gravity. When David shifted internally to a vibration of abundance, gratitude, and certainty, external reality reorganized itself to reflect that, not because circumstances changed first, because consciousness changed first. Physical reality is an effect, not a cause. Consciousness is a cause. It always has been. You are God's. Jesus in John 10:34. Seriously, Jesus said that literally, He called humans gods. The church interpreted it as a metaphor. It wasn't. Jesus understood each person is an individualized expression of God, a divine spark, a creator in miniature, not separate from God, an extension of Him. Like a wave is not separate from the ocean. It is the ocean in a specific form. You are not asking the ocean to create waves. You are the wave, an expression of the ocean. Even with God, you don't ask God to create life. You are God creating through this form called you. When do you understand this? Prayer changes completely. Stop being a beggar pleading. Become a creator, declaring, God, please give me. This is a frequency of lack. Father, thank you because I already have. This is a frequency of abundance. The first asserts separation and powerlessness. The second asserts unity and power. Jesus prayed in the second way. The church taught you the first, but you're not creating alone. You're co-creating. Crucial difference. Ego creates on its own. I will force reality to be what I want through pure effort. The result? Struggle, resistance, exhaustion. A conscious creator co-creates with God. I align my frequency with desire. God, universe, quantum field organizes the details. The result? Flow, synchronicity, ease. David didn't force $31,000 a month. He changed his frequency. Opportunities arose. Moments emerged. He followed through. Your part, frequency, God's part. Organizing the entire universe to manifest. You don't need to know how. You just need to know the compatible frequency. The rest is automatic. How to plant a seed. You don't create a tree cell by cell. Plant water. Soil does the rest. Manifestation. You define the intention. You feel it as a gift. You give thanks in advance. You act when guided. God, the universe performs magic by rearranging trillions of variables to materialize. So why don't most people speak up? Because they live on a frequency opposite to what they desire. They crave abundance, but convey a sense of lack, constant worry, fear of bills. They want love, but they convey neediness, desperation for approval, fear of rejection. They want health, but transmit disease, focus on symptoms, identification with diagnosis. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. Frequency doesn't lie. The universe responds to what you transmit, not to what you verbally wish for. David desired success, but conveyed failure. The result? More failure. When did the internal transmission change? The external result followed. Simple, but not easy, because it requires changing identity, not just behavior. And where does God fit into all of this? Where is he not separated, watching from afar? Inside, through, like the kingdom of God is within you. Luke 17-21. God is not some old bearded man in the clouds judging. He is infinite consciousness, expressing itself through infinite forms. One of those ways you. When do you create consciously? God creates through you. When do you love? God loves through you. When do you manifest? God manifests through you. You are not a puppet. You are an instrument, a collaborator, a creative extension. And the more aware you become of this, the more power flows. Not the power of ego, the power of unity. God acts through me. Jesus had this power because he knew who he was, a conscious expression of God. You can have it, too. You just need to remember what you forgot. If this story has stirred something deep within you, he grew tired of living as a victim of circumstances when he was born to be their creator. Not a religious metaphor, but a literal truth about one's nature. Dissolving the identity of a powerless victim, replacing it with an awareness of being an active co-creator with the divine, accessing inner creative power, manifesting reality through conscious frequency, not desperate pleading, dissolving limiting beliefs about separation, reconnecting with the fundamental unity between you and Source, living as a conscious expression of the divine, co-creating through alignment, not forced effort. The final truth: David wasn't saved by an alien, he was awakened by one. Alien didn't give money, it didn't solve problems, it didn't perform magic. He demonstrated the method, David applied it. Vita responded, because life always responds when the frequency changes, not sometimes, not just for the lucky ones, always for everyone. Natural law: you are a creator made in the image and likeness of God. Not praise, not a metaphor. Fact: God creates through consciousness. You have consciousness. Therefore you create. It always created only unconsciously, transmitting lack, fear, limitation. And the universe obedient has always created more of the same. But when do you awaken? When do you create consciously? It conveys abundance, certainty, possibility. And the universe, still obedient, creates this. Jesus was not God's only son. He was a conscious son. He knew who he was. He knew the power he had. He used it deliberately. You same lineage, same essence, just sleeping. The church kept you asleep. You are a sinner, unworthy, dependent on external salvation, a lie that maintains control. The truth is that Jesus taught, you are God's. You will do greater works than I do. Not because you are better than others, because you are what everyone is, an expression of the infinite creator and the infinite creator. He creates infinitely through infinite forms. One of these shapes stares back at you in the mirror every day. The question isn't, can I create? It is always created. The question is, will I create it consciously? David unconsciously created bankruptcy, divorce, despair. Then he consciously created business, reconnection, prosperity. Same person, different awareness, opposite results. You are creating now at this moment through thoughts, emotions, beliefs, creating life that exists perhaps unconsciously, but creating it nonetheless. What if consciously? What if deliberately? What if, like Jesus did? So create the life you desire, not the life that happened to you. Because nothing happens to you. Everything happens through you. You are the channel, not the victim. And when does the channel clear? When does it align? When does it transmit a clear frequency? God flows through without resistance. He creates through you easily. No struggle, no effort. Flow like water through a clean pipe. David cleaned the pipe. Jesus' method was a tool. He was a pipe. He always had been, just clogged with limiting beliefs. Your pipe current state clogged or clear if life isn't flowing the way you want. Clogged pipe limiting beliefs blocking it. Cleanliness, Jesus' method. 4 steps. Consistency, faith without a doubt. And God, infinite creative consciousness flows. Not because you pleaded well, because you aligned. And alignment. It allows for conscious creation as it was always intended. You are a creator. You always have been. You always will be. He simply forgot. The church guaranteed he would forget. Time to remember. Stop asking. Start declaring. Stop begging. Start co-creating. Stop waiting for salvation. Start manifesting it. Because you are not a beggar. You are a prince, son of a king, heir to a kingdom. And the kingdom, it's inside, waiting for you to wake up. David woke up and everything changed. Your turn now.